Today on CityCast Pittsburgh, we've got a special bonus episode sponsored by the Grable Foundation. What if learning didn't just happen in classrooms, but in libraries, parks, museums, and neighborhoods all across the city? And what if there were hundreds of free events where families could actually experience that kind of learning firsthand? I am joined by two guests from Remake Learning, Yu-Ling Cheng, the co-producer, and Stephanie Lewis, director of relationships, to talk about Remake Learning Days, a global festival that started right here in Pittsburgh. It's now celebrating its 10th anniversary and is helping reimagine what learning can look like for kids and families today. Yu-Ling and Stephanie, welcome to CityCast Pittsburgh.
Thanks for having us.
So let's start very basic here. What is Remake Learning Days?
So Remake Learning Days is an annual hands-on learning festival for families, and it started right here in southwestern Pennsylvania in the Pittsburgh region. It's grown now to other states and even internationally, which is really, really exciting. But what makes it so special is that it's not just one event in one place. It's just hundreds of events hosted by schools, libraries, community partners, museums. So for about 3 weeks, the entire region really transforms into this learning playground where families can explore, create, try new things. And that's just what this festival is about. It's about helping families discover new interests or passions, maybe even reconnecting to things they already love, and just see all the amazing ways that learning is happening and evolving across our region. So just to give you a sense of the scale of this year's festival in southwestern PA, we already have 266 events planned.
Wow.
Hosted by 240 organizations. And it's all happening between May 1st and May 23rd.
And I'll just add, it's also my favorite time of the year. And as Stephanie said, it becomes this enormous learning playground. And when I think about how Remake Learning Days started in 2016, we started to realize that we wanted families to come and learn together. Right? Not just kids doing it on their own or at school, but that learning was happening everywhere, right? And we're all parents. Like, this is the moment where you get to see your kids' eyes light up because they maybe discover something that they didn't even know existed. Or maybe you discover as a caregiver that you didn't know it existed in your own backyard. And so that's why there's so many events. And the idea behind it is truly for parents and caregivers to learn alongside their kids and to learn what's happening in schools and out of school and to experience it firsthand together.
Give us a little preview of some of those things that kids and families can discover and explore at Remake Learning Days. Like, what are some of the coolest events and activities that are happening this year?
This is a great question, but also hard because there's so much happening.
Can't pick a favorite.
Yeah, it's hard. One of the things that I really, really love is how creative and unique some of these events are. They're very once-in-a-lifetime types experiences. So, for example, at Northern Tier Library, there's an event called Alpacas, which is exactly as fun as it probably sounds. Families will actually get to meet a real alpaca up close. They'll get to learn how to care for alpacas and then also how their fiber is turned into usable materials. So not only do you get to see an alpaca, you can try your hand at weaving and knitting. So really blending outdoor learning, arts, and making in a very, very playful way.
It's hard to imagine a child wouldn't just be absolutely blown away by getting to see an alpaca up close.
Absolutely.
Or an adult for that matter. I would be blown away by it too.
They're so cute, aren't they? I think for me, one of the events I'll highlight is called Shell Games Studio Open House. So Shell Games is a business. They make video games. They do AR and VR, virtual reality. And what they do is once a year, they open their doors for anyone to come and learn. So this is really designed for older students, but still younger students can go. And you get to go, you get to test out the games, you get to see what the space looks like. And what's really neat is you can meet with all the team members at Shell Games. So whether it's the CEO and asking him what his job is like, Jesse Shell, or you can meet the creatives, the designers, the engineers, the marketing people, the accounting people. And you start to see what it takes to run a full business and what it's like. And kids can start to see what they imagine themselves to look like if they wanted to work at a place like Shell Games. So that's an example of a different type of event host where you can experience the kind of what happens behind the scenes.
I feel like that really helps capture kind of like the breadth of activities from seeing an animal up close and learning how to care for it to learning about game development. That's such a wide range.
So there's more events that we can definitely share. Stephanie, I don't know if you want to go first and kind of rapid fire share what
I'll do a rapid fire share. So like if you're interested in history, right? There's a dig into history at Fort Macintosh, which is an actual former Army site. They'll get to learn about the 1785 treaty. Students can even be an archaeologist for the day and dig and find artifacts from the Revolutionary War. And then coming back downtown, you can fish downtown with Venture Outdoors. So wide range of things happening. This is why this is a very hard question to answer, because there's so many good things, unique experiences happening.
So I'll just add here a couple that are on my list of events to go check out. I love Citizen Science Lab. This is where you can do science experiments. And for example, you can extract DNA from fruit. Another one that I'm excited about is Alumni Theater Company, where it's all about performing arts. They're doing an event called Performance Lab. So you get to go and experience what it takes to create a performance. And another one I'll share is Dragon's Den. And this is ziplining. So there's a 160-foot zip line. And so you go through all these activities together. You learn about teamwork, you learn about communication and resilience, and it culminates in a 600-plus foot ropes challenge and a 160-foot zip line. But they're also marrying it with reading. So they're partnering with Reading Ready Pittsburgh. So free books will be distributed. And you get to do a maker design challenge where you create your own mini zip line. There's just, I don't know. Do you want us to keep going? There's so many to talk about.
It's all just so cool. I think also kind of when you first hear something like a learning festival and you don't know anything, you're probably imagining like balloon animals or something like that. And this is just so much more involved and so much cooler than anything I would have imagined.
The other piece of advice I give to families when they're trying to pick their events is it's a good chance to see what school districts are doing. We have more than 50 school districts participating in Remake Learning Days in this region alone. And so they all have different variations of open houses and things that you can go discover. So for example, you can go and see something about esports. You can go see a career day carnival where students are learning about different careers that exist in their neighborhood. It's just a fun way to see all the creativity that's happening and innovation that's happening in schools.
And I know you all are celebrating a pretty big milestone this year. This is the 10th anniversary. Tell me how this festival has grown or evolved over the years.
It started in 2016, and it was an experiment. It was a call to see if you could celebrate learning, and we did. It was really fun. We started then getting interest from other areas. People wanted to come and see what the festival looked like. So we did put together a bus tour in 2018 just for people to come see what it might look like if they wanted to do it in their own region. And then people started asking us to help them. So in 2019, we started to expand Remake Learning Days. Fast forward to today, we have 16 festivals that are happening, 9 in the state of Pennsylvania. We also have festivals in Badgerland, Kansas City, Suncoast, Florida, Knoxville, and West Virginia. And we have 2 international festivals in Doncaster, UK, United Kingdom, as well as Uruguay in South America. So it's really fun to see how these festivals have expanded. Everyone still keeps it authentic to their region, but everyone believes in the goal of making it family engaged learning and shining a bright spotlight on all the places that kids are learning, and igniting this conversation across their communities on how we can all be involved in learning. So it's really fun. There's going to be, right now, there's more than 1,500 events on the calendar across the world.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really, really fun to see the magic of learning spreading across our globe. I've been able to connect with the Doncaster Festival Lead, and just to hear the stories and the excitement about what their families are experiencing has been super, super exciting to be a part of, and to know that it all kicked off here, but now it's spreading across the world.
What kind of impact has this had on kids and families beyond just being, a fun one-off experience? What are some of the larger impacts it's had?
What we are consistently seeing is that the events serve as entry points. They serve as these sparks for new interests that really stay with young people well beyond the festival. And I've actually experienced this personally. So my son, he was second grade at the time, tried African drumming at a Remake Learning Days event. And the organization was in our neighborhood. We drive by it every day, but had never interacted with them. But he had such a great experience that turned into him taking drumming lessons for an entire year. And so we hear these stories from families as well. They say things like, we never knew this program existed. We see this all the time, but never really took the time to go in and explore. So it's really just not about the activity itself. It's about connecting families to opportunities, to resources in their own community that they might not have otherwise discovered.
And to add to that, we do surveys and we ask families to tell us what they thought. And 78% of families in Southwestern PA said that they were going to come back to that organization and do more activities there. They wanted to go back and visit it, right? So it's supporting the organizations. Families are learning new resources. And it's like Stephanie said, kids want to go back. I'll add that also 62% of families said that they had fun together. It was just fun, quality time together, which is what we all hope for.
Yeah, that's very important.
And I think about my kids. I have 2 girls, and one of my girls and I went to Manchester Craftsman's Guild last year. In fact, I met Steph and her kids there, and we did pinhole photography. I didn't even know how pinhole photography worked.
Same.
So we learned how to do it. We experimented. We did it. And we came home with this beautiful photograph. And it is still on our kitchen counter. And it just reminds me of a really fun time that I had with my younger daughter.
And I think that also lends well to, how this experience really builds confidence. So, when young people have the opportunity to try something new or solve a problem or to create something, they're building that internal muscle of, I can do this. And that really starts to shift how they see themselves. So not just seeing themselves as students, but as well as innovators and creators, and just building a desire to want to try new things. So definitely more than just the one-off experience.
Yep.
Well, and I'm going to add, it's also important that parents and caregivers put themselves in their kids' shoes and to kind of push the boundaries a little bit. So I'll give 2 examples. Last year, my kids and we went to a scuba diving event. So we learned how to scuba dive in 2 hours.
Wow.
I was a nervous wreck. I thought I was just going to sit on the side of the pool and watch my kids do it. But no, we were all expected to get in the pool. We learned the lessons. I learned how to do the signals, how the whole system worked. And my kids loved it. And I went in, I was like, I don't think I can do this. But I did it. And I really loved it and enjoyed it. I don't want to be a professional scuba diver, but I have a lot of respect now for the people who do that and work in the marine sciences. Another example I'll give is I went to a school district where I watched them do battle bots. So they used sphero balls that they programmed, and they had to create this thing that went on top of it. And what you do is get into this ring and compete against another team. So it was parent and child team working together to create their battle bot. And they were doing like balloons and like pointy things that came off of it and lots of tape and just all sorts of things, right? And you would go in, and the goal was to pop the other bot's balloon. So what I thought was really fun was all the kids were done and the parents were the ones that kept saying, I'm not done yet. Let's do one more thing. We got to add this to it, right? And they were having fun and you could tell that they were becoming kids themselves through that. It's just a fun way to remember what it was like when you discovered something new.
Yeah, it's important for all of us to be reminded of that at any age. You know, you mentioned how this started in southwestern Pennsylvania, but it's happening all over the country, all over the world. Why do you think that this idea has resonated so widely?
I think first, everybody wants the best for their kids, and you want the best for the kids in your region. The goal is to excite kids, to help them find their passion, to give them career skills so that they're successful in life. So I think that resonates no matter where you are in the world. But on top of that, I think Remake Learning Days also has the flexibility for every region to make their festival their own. So, for example, here in Pennsylvania, we work with the Pennsylvania Department of Education across the 9 festivals that we have. And so there's a component of career readiness, right? It's one of the goals of the Department of Education, but we're watching how kids are learning different career skills and being exposed to different careers at all of these Remake Learning Day events. And they can earn a badge that then their school gets credit for. So you start to see that collaboration and partnership that's working. In fact, it's worked so well that now we're working with the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture for all sorts of different types of agriculture-related and outdoor learning events. On the flip side, down in Uruguay, they wanted to capture the history of what people have to offer. And so when they do events, they ask people, if you could give up an hour of your time and teach the next generation something, what would you teach them? And so they have nearly 80 events on the calendar, all from companies and people and individuals teaching things that they do not want to have lost as it moves down through the different generations. It's still hands-on learning. It's still being exposed to all these learning opportunities that are happening in their community, but it's respecting and capturing what's happening in their communities by their elders.
So for anyone who's listening to this and thinking, I want to get involved, I want to go meet an alpaca, for example, how can people find events and what should they know before jumping in May?
Yes, go pet an alpaca, go scuba diving, go fishing. The easiest way to get started is to visit our website, remakelearningdays.org, and really just dive right in, explore the events. You can search by location so you can find events that are really close to you within a certain mile radius. You can search by dates or interests. The majority of the events are free and open to the public. Some you may have to register in advance for. So we really encourage families to maybe map out their learning adventure. But really, the easiest way is to start with the website, dive in, see what's happening, find something that fits you, and attend. And don't just try out one, try out more and more and more. If you're an organization or school or business, there's still time to actually host an event, and they can submit those events on the website as well.
And if you're really not sure where to start, I'll also add that we have ambassadors. We have parent-teacher ambassadors as well as youth ambassadors. And they've selected events that they're curious about and want to go attend. And so we have them listed on our website and the reasons why they chose each event that they chose. And so you can look at that as well as another place for inspiration.
Any final pitch to come check out Remake Learning Days?
I would just say this is the time to explore. It's springtime. Get outside, have fun, enjoy it. You never know where that might lead to for summer activities as well. And there's really no wrong answer here. You can just go out and explore and try new things, and you will learn something about you and your child.
Definitely. And share it with others. One really fun way to experience it is to, of course, take your young people with you, but bring friends, connect with another family, and just go explore together.
Well, Yu-Ling, Stephanie, thank you so much for sharing about this. You have me convinced. I am going to bring my daughter to check this out and for us to discover new passions together. I'm very excited about it. So thank you for convincing me and for sharing about this wonderful festival.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you enjoyed this sponsored bonus episode, visit remakelearningdays.org to explore hundreds of free events happening across the region. You can find activities for your family and see how learning can come to life beyond the classroom. We will have a link in our show notes, so you are just a click away.